Hey guys, what is up? And yesterday you recall this shop I tried to make, which is decent, but I think I've come up with a better idea for a shop, or a better shop. And let me just show you. I'm going to just go through it, show you, and then show you how it works. So here's the shop. Very simple. You just press the buttons if you want to get something. So if I want this, it costs 40 levels, because this shop uses XP, but since I don't have any levels, it's not going to do anything. In an adventure map, you'd get like money such as gold, and so you're gonna exchange your gold for the levels. So this process is gonna take quite a bit of time, and I'll explain that why. But you're gonna get levels, and I'm gonna get quite a few levels because all of the gold, and I'll show you how I do that. But while we're here, we might as well start buying. So let's say I want 2 pork chops. Oh, okay, I got 2. It took off 40 levels, like it said. Same thing. Same thing happens. Let's just go through the line here. And so even if you're still getting money, you can still spend the money, which is also a very good feature about this. Did I get the... No, I don't think I got some pants or some boots. Let's get a bow. See how many arrows do we get? 10? What a deal. Let's put this armor on, might as well. Get a splash potion. Get a ender pearl, some TNT, why not? And what is this? It's flame or fire aspect or flame. So if I wanted to enchant my my sword, should work. If I wanted to enchant my bow, should work. Yes. Okay. You don't even know how much this means, and I'll explain that in a little bit of lag for some weird reason, but. Flame, fire aspect 2. So now my bow is enchanted. Can I get that back? No, I cannot. I suck at this game. But yeah, I'm still getting the money, whatever. And there we go. It should be just like cleaning up the last final bits of it. I spent quite a bit of money on this shop. 40 times all this is, I think it's like 12, 11. I think it's 11 actually. I spent that 40, then you can do the math, whatever. But this was the way to get the money. I'm still getting money actually. It's quite a lot. It's every gold nugget gets you 10 levels. So each of these things cost 4 gold nuggets is basically how it's gonna work out. But yeah, that's just about it. If you want to see how this works, I'm going to show you right now. But the reason I'm so excited about this is because redstone, you don't have to really be good at redstone. You just have to know what you can do with redstone. And then I didn't do this in like one shot. I had a bunch of problems, but I did some problem solving, some troubleshooting, and I was able to make this work out, and it works out pretty nicely. If I want to turn, these are the game rule where you can see the command block output in your chat. So I just flip this on. At the most convenient time when I flipped it on, I got all my levels, so there's no more levels to get. I already gotten all my money. But let me show you how this works. So I'll start off with the gold exchange. The gold exchange, I cannot fly. Game mode 1. Okay. So now let me show you how this works. I wanted a way to count each piece of gold nugget, because there's ways to count large majorities, but I didn't think of a way to count each single one, but now I did. What happened is, once you put your gold into the chest, it gets sucked into this hopper and into the dropper. Right now, once the dropper is at 40, what is this, 41, of course, my math, sorry, spent up to like 2 in the morning doing this, so don't kill me. Once it gets one more piece of gold, let me get a piece of gold just to show you. So you put it in here. Once it gets the piece of gold, it's going to shoot it out, but then stop. So there's these left in there. Every time here's all the money, by the way. Every time the gold passes or gets shot out, it passes through this tripwire. Let me show you. It passes through this tripwire, so it's an item counter. in itself. I should have done a video just on this, but it's a pretty cool thing. It's an item counter. So the dropper is forced to drop inside of these two lines, let fall on this, activating this line, which goes into a command block, which basically gives the nearest player 10 XP levels. So 1 gold nugget, 10 XP. The reason it takes so long is because you have to do it one at a time. So I set up this clock. Let me just fall down in here. I set up this clock that basically it's like the fastest you can go with your and it's weird because I had to fight with these stupid redstone blocks because it's the design, so I had to like put repeaters in weird places and whatnot. But basically it's a clock that goes so it's fast enough so this gets dropped off each time, but giving this redstone signal enough time to reset before the next one gets dropped in, so it counts each one as not like a continuous stream. That's very important. It took me a little bit getting this clock in here. Very compact though, not bad. Also, I wanted to make sure there was a way where you couldn't put anything into the hopper, so I couldn't put like dirt and get out something. And as you can see, did not really work out, but I did figure out a way. You need 41 pieces in here. Can I pick them all? Okay, whatever. You need 41 pieces in here because 42 changes it back to it. So what I did was like this and put it out. So when it gets the new one, it's going to activate what I'm going to show you next. The way, so you can't just put dirt in here and it can't drop out dirt. But the way I detected, the way I can fix this, because it shoots out randomly, but the hopper puts it into the first slot only. All you'd have to do, there we go. All you'd have to do, instead of making this line 2, make this line 15 long. And so you fill it all the way up 64, 64, 64, 64, all the way through. But make this one 63, so when it gets that last one, it gets that 15 strength, and it does what I'm about to show you next. And this is a way to ensure that you can't use it for, like, you can't put dirt in it. That sounded like a little bit extra effort for not that big of a deal. But it could work because every time it shoots one out, it's going to get instantly replaced, so it's going to stay up pretty full. That's a way to solve that if you really wanted to make sure no one can cheat. I figured out a way, but I didn't really do anything about it. This right here, this repeater, is important. It looks like it's weird, but it's important because I wanted it's a very confined space, what I got here. But right now, it has a 1 signal strength because it's at 41. Once it gets 42, it gets a second signal strength, which sends this pulse through the repeater, through this block, down this line, into this block. And so when it's at 42, this block's going to be up, allowing the clock for it to dispense out, for the clock signal to go through this block into the dispenser. Right now it's not doing anything, but when you put a extra golden nugget, let me grab one. When you put an extra golden nugget in there, you'll see it pushes it up and it gets shot out, but then the signal strength's not good enough, so it has to, or not strong enough, not good enough, that's stupid, not strong enough, so it has to pull it back down. And now when you have multiple, it's, oh shit, why am I'm getting some lag, it's weird. Yeah, so when it's getting a constant stream from this, it's not a big deal. So let me just close this back up. And that's how that works. Very simple process. And let me show you why it's kind of imperative that you have this on false. It's a game rule called command block output, which tells operators what's going on with the command block. When it's false, you're not going to see anything, but when it's true, you'll see the little @ sign, which is basically the command block. And let's say I wanted to get some more levels. Let's say I put them in there. And now it's gonna spam me with this chat, ZZDeagle545, given 10 levels, because I named my command block after myself. So it's gonna spam up your screen with that, but when you change it to false, it's gone, but you'll still get the levels. Let me just get the rest of these levels while I show you this part. This is the machine in action. Another feature that I wanted in this shop was the ability to be the items to be right next to each other like this, where you can just push a button and it gives you it. So that means there's going to be a lot of repeaters, and I try to make it as compact as possible, and this is what you get. So the buttons are on the other side of these blocks, activating all these repeaters. Try to stay with me. Might get complicated, but it's pretty simple. This signal goes through to this block, this command block, and turns off this redstone signal. I'll start with the command block first. The command block will test for the closest player at P, the nearest player to this block, and it'll make sure it has a minimum level of 40. So you have to test if it has a minimum level of 40, so that when it can take away 40. So if you don't have a minimum level of 40, you can't buy it. You can't go on through the process. If you do have a minimum level 40, this comparator will turn on, which giving a signal to now the top. This redstone torch will turn off. This one will turn on, but after this delay, it will activate this piston, pushing the block into this thing. Since they're all on constantly because I have a level 40, it's always going to be on. But when I push the button, every time this piston will activate regardless if I'm level 40 or not. The only difference is level 40. If I'm level 40, this will be on, sending the current through here. If I'm not, it's not going to be sending a current, so the thing will just come down, the piston. When the piston does come down, and I'm level 40, this comparator sends a signal through the block to the repeater. And this repeater activates 2 command blocks. This one, minus XP, so that's like the money. So it subtracts the amount of XP you have. And it'll give you the item that you want. This one was pork chops 2. So this is the ID for pork chops. This is number 2 for how many pork chops. And so when I push this button, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to get 2 pork chops. I'm going to minus 40 levels. Now let's turn on the game update so you can see what happens. I take 4 levels. I'm taking 40 levels, and I give me the 2 pork chops at the same time. So that's good. It just goes down the line. It's staggered because if they are right next to each other, this rain's going to turn off shortly. Please. Please. Okay. It's not going to turn off shortly. I'll do it myself. Okay, just set that. If they're next to each other, the repeater will activate like a command block next to it, which give you extra items, and you don't want that, so you have to stagger it all the way through. It's just basically basic give commands, and each one has level 40. I made all of them cost level 40 just as a demonstration. If you want to change the cost, all we'd have to do is change the number of XP it tests for. So you would change this number to whatever level it costs, and then you would change the number subtracted to whatever it costs, and so you can have different costs. It doesn't have to be 40. I do high level of XP because just so killing mobs and whatnot, it won't really interfere with the items you can buy if you just want to go off of gold. That's my reasoning behind it. This one also gave me a little trouble because I wanted to give either a fire aspect or flame, and so all I had to do is the same basic stuff here, test for whatnot. But instead of this, it's either going to enchant 22, which means fire aspect with level 2, but if it doesn't, it's going to go through the block and go to 51, which is flame 1. So you enchant the item that you have in your hand when you push the button. So that's why pushing it with a bow, you'll get flame, and pushing it with a sword, you get fire aspect. So you're not getting extra, you're just getting the ore. And let me just show you that. So let me just get a sword, and I can just do it. And it'll give me the enchantment. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Now if I had a bow, it would give me the flame enchantment. Make sure you have it in your hand because it enchants the one in your hand. Enchanting succeed. There we go. You have flame 1. Now let's see what happens when you don't have the light levels. Okay, so I have no levels. And as you remember, the comparators are still on, so that means when the piston comes down, it's still going to send the signal through. But since I have no levels, let me actually just show you. I'm going to push the button, and this is going to turn off, so when the piston comes down, it does nothing. But when I do have 4 levels, or 10,000, it's going to do the opposite, turn it on, and then signal through, and I get the items. So very It's very, it looks complicated, but it's very simple and sort of compact. This is a large shop, so you're gonna get a large amount of items. So you can stack this side by side as much as you want. This is a lot of items. I was actually having trouble picking items that you'd want to sell, so that's also a very good thing. Pretty compact. A challenge I faced was doing it right next to each other, and this is a nice easy way to make sure that you can put them right next to each other and they won't interfere with each other. This is not too large. It's a pretty compact little system. You only need one of them. You don't even need them at all if you can be getting XP. Like if I have the quest system, you can go get XP from the quest system that you can spend in the shops, and you can do stuff like that. It opens the doors to a lot of things, and I think it was a very cool little idea. Someone even commented on this shop asking me that they wanted a compact shop that uses levels, and that was actually the idea I had making the first shop. I wanted to do the shop, and so hopefully he's happy that I made this. Hopefully he can see what I had in mind, and he can be, she, I don't know, whatever gender you were. But here's my XP shop, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I really had fun making it. It was quite satisfying to make this. Should I make other shop? I don't know if there's any other shop types that I had. If you have any ideas, let me know. But thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later. This was a very cool idea. Bye.